Let's see if I can make this pop. Oh boy, did I! Jesus! Cheers, guys. Good old Neumarkt, the 50-cent a bottle, channel regular, bitter as they come, powerful and manly. Welcome to 1,000 Words. Welcome to a new video. My name is Radu, and today we're talking about this guy right here. This is the Minolta MD Rokkor, the 45mm f2. Now, I have the worldwide version. If you happen to own the Rokkor X, rest assured it's just a cosmetic regional variant. As far as optics and constructions and everything else goes, it's exactly the same lens. The X just designated the lenses sold on the American market. I forgot to turn on the light, but that pop was so beautiful. I'll be damned if I shoot that again. So it is what it is. Ghetto YouTube reviews right here. Welcome to 1,000 Words again. Before talking about this handsome guy right here, a bit of housekeeping is in order. There are a few things I want to mention. Firstly, I want to remind you that I do have a book out. I recently self-published my first photo book ever, titled, well, translated instead of 1,000 words, because the actual Romanian title says În loc de 1000 de cuvinte. It's 100 pages of black and white photography. Generically speaking, it's street photography, but there's some documentary work there. There's some family photos here. There's journalism type of stuff, abstract even. It's a very personal and dear project of mine. Most of them have sold. There are still 8 copies left, so if you do want to get your hands on one of my books, get in touch with me. It's really easy to do so. Just find me on any of my socials, links down below, or just send me an email. Now, second thing I want to mention is I'll be reaching 1,000 subs soon. And although it's been going really incredibly, very slowly as of late, I don't know what, I certainly wish it's not a sign of the quality of the content declining, because I've seen actually, instead of a growth, I've seen a bit of a downward trend as far as subscription growth. So, regarding reaching 1,000 subs, I'm giving away a camera, so stick around, subscribe, press the button down below, press the bell to be notified of future uploads, like and comment down below, engage with me, and be sure to check out the video celebrating reaching 1,000 subs. It's a video where I announce a giveaway of a film rangefinder camera, specifically the Minolta Hymatic 7S, a beautiful rangefinder with a beautiful lens. Now, Minolta lenses have had a bit of a significant history, and many, if not all of them, have gone through several iterations throughout the time, starting with the very early Rokkors, followed by MC Rokkors 1 and 2, subsequently followed by early MD Rokkors, then later the MD2s. Now, this lens is a bit special in that regard. As such, it has only ever seen a single iteration, this being the latter and later MD2 Rokkor. Announced in 1978 with the diagonal field of view of 51.3 degrees on a full frame equivalent camera, featuring an optical construction of 6 elements in 5 groups, with an aperture system ranging from wide open at f2 all the way closed down to f16, with half stops between f2.8 and f11, 5 slightly rounded aperture blades, a minimum focusing distance of 0.6 of a meter, that's about 2 feet for you weirdos out there measuring distances in body parts and human anatomy, weighing in at a measly 127 grams, that's what, like 2 or 3 biggish tomatoes, perhaps, and the 49mm filter thread. This lens is tiny and light. As far as construction goes, this is it focused to infinity. It's a really tiny lens. Really, really slim, very small profile. Light, not quite the pancake you would probably imagine, but at the very same time it is very small and very light. The construction is really kind of at least okay. It's actually more than okay. It's pretty great as a matter of fact. I do wish there was more metal and less plastic. The aperture ring features pretty confident and precise stops, but is all plastic and thus it feels kind of flimsy. The lens barrel and everything else is metal, except for the beauty ring, which is plastic yet again. The focusing ring is rubber, so yeah, it's a lot like most later MD2s. It features a lot of plastic. Now, that's not to say it's badly constructed. There is practically no shake. The only thing that is audible is, I think, the aperture coupling system, because other than that, this feels very hefty and substantial. It's well built, really a great piece of engineering. Pretty good at that. Feels sturdy, feels substantial. Handling is pretty good. I'm a sucker for small lenses, and this one is, as far as handling goes, one of my favorites. Focus throw is a comfortable 180 degrees. Let me just see. No, it's not 180, more like 170, 160 degrees, but that's sufficient, seeing how this is 45mm, so it still allows for precise focusing. The focusing ring turns smoothly with sufficient dampening, yet again allowing for very precise and confident focusing. Handling is pretty great. That out of the way, let's talk about image quality, because it is, after all, an optical apparatus and it's meant to make images. It's just all right, veering towards good. I've seen people sing its praises a lot more than I'm going to do. That's not to say it's a bad lens, and everything here on this channel and in this video yet again is entirely my subjective opinion. However, I try to be informed and accurate. It's still my personal opinion, and my thoughts are subjective experiences with these lenses. And my subjective experience with this lens is just about meh. I mean, it's pretty sharp, even wide open. At f2, it's serviceable. It's not something to write home about. You're not going to be winning any prizes as far as clarity and sharpness goes wide open, but it's certainly very decent. Stop down, F4 is where it starts to get into its own, image quality improves dramatically, the substantial vignette that is apparent wide open is gone, the image is just great. That said, two of this lens's best qualities are contrast and color rendition. Contrast is really remarkable. There's no need to add any contrast in post-production if you're going for a natural look, because the contrast this lens is able to deliver is significant and sufficient. Tones are represented beautifully. There's a very natural and beautiful gradation between darks all the way through shadows into mid-tones and higher mid-tones, then highlights. This lens is really something. Fantastic for any sort of black and white work. This lens makes beautiful black and white images with punchy tones, really great for monochrome. Beautiful at that. There's a certain shine to the tones, and I really do love shooting this lens in black and white. However, colors are something special. Minolta has long been recognized for its ability to render colors. I don't know if it's the coatings or their optical formulas, or maybe a combination of both, but it has been a very significant tradition with Minolta lenses that they have been able to reproduce wonderful and beautiful colors. This lens is no exception. Colors are really beautiful, very vibrant, very punchy and saturated. They're determined, they're in your face without being over the top, very bold, very lively, beautiful colors, really fantastic. If it's one thing this lens does best is color. As far as flaws and defects, this lens doesn't have many. Practically all lenses are somewhat soft, wide open. Practically all lenses flare, and this lens flares as well. Shooting it directly into a strong source of light, it will make it flare. There is a bit of ghosting. There is a slight loss of contrast, but it's nothing egregious. And the flares this lens makes are rather quite beautiful. I would easily use them creatively, and I almost dare say they're not flaws, rather they're features. I don't use vintage lenses for optical perfection. I'm not asking of them something they're not supposed to deliver, but rather I'm trying to use them according to their strengths and work with them rather than against them. So that is to say, see things like vignettes and flares as features rather than flaws, although they technically are optical imperfection and defects. Before wrapping things up, there are a few remarks I want to make. Firstly, and I probably should have started with this, but I'm beginning to be forgetful. I do want to take this opportunity to thank Paul, one of my subscribers and a dear friend of mine, who lent me this lens together with a couple others still waiting for their reviews. So I got this lens as a loaner late winter of 2021, and it's just now that I've managed to shoot a review for it, but it is what it is. Yet again, thank you, Paul, for the opportunity. I loved testing this out, but I do want to say that it's not a favorite of mine. While very good in some aspects and at least decent in other aspects, this lens has not impressed me. It's not something I would go after and get, although a lot of people seem to sing its praises. I much prefer something like the Hexanon AR, the 40mm f1.8. I much prefer its build quality, its mechanical construction, the aspect and aesthetics of it, the images it makes, the handling. I prefer everything about it. Even the focal length. 45mm is neither here nor there. It's not a 50, it's not a standard lens, it's not a wide angle. 40mm seems to be in a league of its own. It's not standard, but close to. It's not wide angle, but it's sufficiently wide to allow for better storytelling and allowing more things into your frame. 45mm, I find that really awkward and pretty weird as far as focal lengths go. That said, these were my opinions and impressions of the 45mm f2. Thank you again, Paul, for allowing me to use this. Thank you, everybody, for watching this video. If you're feeling so inclined, there's a Buy Me a Coffee link down below where you can monetarily help me deliver this content to you. But by far the most helpful thing you can do in supporting me is clicking the like button and subscribe to my channel in order to be notified of future uploads, and stick around because I'm giving away a Minolta Hymatic 7S film rangefinder camera in perfect working condition and actually in really great mechanical working order as well, and aesthetically it's a great camera. I've used it, I've tested it, it works and it's beautiful, and it can be yours. Comment down below, tell me your opinions. This has been all. I have been Radu. This has been Neumarkt, and this has been 100,000 words. Until next time, I bid you farewell.